my chocolate, didn't you?
No. Hello everyone! Today we're going to learn how to use tag questions. For instance, it's hot today, isn't it? It's a very simple technique, but British people use it a lot. So it's good for your listening practice as well. But why do we use tag questions? How are they different from normal questions? Let's find out. Okay, so you might be wondering why British people use this "isn't it" question rather than just a normal question. So here's the difference. So in normal questions, we don't know the answer. That's why we're asking. However, for tag questions, the reason we use them is a little bit different. The most common way we use it is if we think we know the answer to a question, but we're not too sure. So we're asking just to check. For example, with the regular question, do you play tennis? We don't know the answer. Not at all. However, if you use the tag question, you play tennis, don't you? That means we think you play tennis, but we're not too sure. So we're asking just to check. Intonation is also important here. If you go down at the end of your question, for example, you play tennis, don't you? That makes me sound more confident that what I think is true is actually true. However, if I go up at the end of the question, you play tennis, don't you? That sounds like I'm a little more unsure. Another way we use tag questions is when we're kind of sure of the answer, but we're checking whether someone else agrees with us or not. Let's look at an example. You're in a really hot place, and you say something like, "Is it hot today?" Your friend might be thinking, "Seriously? Of course it's hot. That's obvious. I'm sweating, you're sweating, it's hot." So it's quite an unusual question to ask in this situation. So in this case, it's more natural to say something like, "It's hot today, isn't it?" Because that shows that you know it's hot, and you're just checking if your friend agrees with you. So your friend might say something like, "Yeah, it is." Or they could reply with some other statement that's a little bit stronger. For example, "It's hot today, isn't it? I'm boiling." Or, "I'm sweating like a pig." Or maybe even, "I'm melting." So in this case, you can answer the question in 3 ways. Yes, to agree. No, to disagree. Or you can reply with a statement, something that shows agreement or disagreement. Before we see some more examples, let's go through the grammar. How do we make tag questions? When you usually make a question in English, you switch the subject and a verb. For example, "It is a banana." Is it a banana? Or add do, does, did at the beginning. I like it. Do you like it? However, in tag questions, you don't have to change the original sentence. Simply add the tag question at the end. For "isn't it?", the rule is actually quite simple. Simply switch the beginning, so "it is" becomes "is it?", and then make it negative. Isn't it? It's simple, isn't it? And we do the same thing with can questions. For example, "You can ride a bike." So simply switch the beginning, so "you can" becomes "can you?", and make it negative. Can't you? You can ride a bike, can't you? And it's the same pattern for many other tag questions. For example, "You were playing in the garden, weren't you?" She could slam dunk a basketball, couldn't she? However, do, did, and does tag questions are a little different. For example, "He broke the window." If we want to make this into a tag question, we have to use do, did, or does. And this is because this sentence doesn't have any auxiliary verbs. For example, it doesn't have a can, or is, or was, or were, or could. So in this case, we need to use do, did, or does, depending on the subject. In this case, it's he. So we need to use did. Of course, we also need to make it negative. So the sentence becomes, he broke the window, didn't he? But hang on a second. What if there's already a not in your original sentence? Well, in that case, we don't need a negative or a not in our tag question ending. So for example, it wasn't funny, was it? So you can see I have the negative in the original sentence, so my tag question doesn't need another negative. Oh, this guy's really funny, isn't he? Hey, you were sleeping. No, I wasn't. Then what did he just say? Who is he? I better wash my hands first. Hey, you ate my chocolate, didn't you? No. Hey, do you want to go dancing tonight? Oh, dancing. What dance? Maybe hip hop? Hip hop? I guess you don't really know about it, do you? Of course I do. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to check them. Also, before you go, please hit the like button and also subscribe. And thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.